he probably has a pitch in mind that he thinks I should throw in, like, say, a 3-2 count or, you know, a 1-2 count, and I'll probably throw something completely different. And he's like, what?
He's like a random pitch generator. Like, you never really know what he's going to throw. I mean, I don't think the hitters know what he's going to throw. You know, I'm sitting there on the side watching some of those pitches, and I'm thinking like, wow, I probably wouldn't have called that pitch, but it certainly worked.
1-2 on LeCroy. The pitch. He struck him out swinging. 14 consecutive outs for Hunter Hollan.
Do you ever feel pressure during the season or while you're pitching?
I would say just leading up to an outing, and not necessarily pressure. I would just say you're excited to go face, you know, Tennessee or South Carolina. They're big time programs, and it's just that you know, those last few hours leading up to a game, it's fun.
But as a starting pitcher, like, your performance has, it's not to take away from any of your teammates that's on the team, but you know, if a starting pitcher has a really rough game, it's tough to win that game. If your number 4 batter goes 0 for 4, well, there's 8 other batters that can kind of pick up the slack. There's extra pressure being a starter, and especially on the weekends in conference.
Yeah. I mean, that's the job though. That's what's so cool about it. I love starting. Just you know, you have to pace yourself. You can't just go empty the tank in the first. And you know, if I want to be 91 in the first, I want to be like low effort, easy. The ball's just coming out good because my mechanics are good and I'm throwing strikes, and then I can come out in the 6th or 7th and empty the tank and, you know, still be, you know, 91, 92. So, and that's a learning process, and it's a lot of fun.
When you pitched at San Jac, were you mostly a starter, or did you relieve it all there?
I didn't come out of the pen one time at San Jac. I started, I think it was 36 games in 2 years. So,
I mean, this is a role that you've grown into that has been a part of you for a long time then.
Yeah. I've just always enjoyed it. So and I'm glad I was put in the position here at Arkansas to where, you know, I could take a starting role. So I've enjoyed it.
2-2. He struck him out swinging. LeCroy goes down swinging to end the 4th. Hunter Hollan has struck out 4 of the last 5 hitters.
David told me in the fall that he kind of viewed you potentially as someone to pitch out of the bullpen in relief maybe twice a weekend. And it was because you had done so well in the fall and you were so dominant that he thought potentially you could work a couple times on a weekend. But we've never seen you pitch in relief here. Was that a role that you thought you may embody, or did you know you would start?
Yeah, no, I didn't know. I didn't know what my role was coming into the season. And it didn't really matter to me. I was just, you know, pumped I was going to get the opportunity to throw a baseball at Arkansas. So it didn't bother me at all. But I knew that just because starting is always what I've really done, that if I got the chance to start, I would probably keep doing it just because they could tell I was comfortable. Just you know, it didn't really change anything how I pitched to starting a game. But I'm not opposed to coming out of the bullpen just because it's a different mindset. You can come in and, you know, empty the tank to get, you know, 6 outs or 3 outs. So it's something I've never done before, but I'd be excited to get the chance to do it.
So we're like relying on fewer pitches though, but you've got a starter's repertoire. You have potentially the widest repertoire on the team. How many pitches do you throw?
I throw all 5 pitches.
All 5 pitches. Now there'd be some other guys that do, but you seem to use all, well, you might not use all 5 of them in a game. Sometimes it's a matter of like what feels like it's working best.
Yeah. Normally most games we'll find the best 3. And then, you know, if I get ahead in counts, if it's 0-2, 1-2, we might just show one of the other pitches, but it just might not be working as good that day. So it would be more of a show me pitch than an out pitch, and then go back to the pitches that are working. And that's something that Parker Rowland does an unbelievable job at, not just with me, but with everybody realizing, okay, this is really good today. He's throwing this where he wants. So it's been really good, Parker catching me and calling a game.
Are there days that what you feel is working in the bullpen when you're warming up, or what looks good there, doesn't work during the game, at least to start, and you got to go to something else?
Yeah, it's tough. It'll be, you know, it could be a fastball location. It could be, you know, you're throwing your changeup, you know, 50 feet. So it happens all the time, but that's why it's pitching. It's not easy, and most of the time, if you have a good bullpen, a really good bullpen, then you'll get a rough start. But if you don't throw a strike in a bullpen, I like those days because you're around the zone a little bit better.
Sure. You sound like you really trust your catcher, and the whole staff does too. I think that's pretty obvious. What does that mean to a pitcher or to a pitching staff to feel that trust in your catcher to where sometimes you're kind of letting him make those decisions or listening to him to the point where you trust him to make those decisions for you?
Yeah, for sure. And I actually told Parker on Sunday against Vanderbilt, I was like, hey, we've pitched these guys the past 2 games, and you've called a really good game, so I'm going with you. Like whatever you want, I'm going to throw. And but he's normally really good about knowing what you want to throw to in certain counts. And just like the South Carolina game, I probably shook him off 3 times, and he's having fun with it, especially when I had a day like that to where I was throwing the baseball really good, hitting spots and throwing. That was the first time all year we threw all 5 pitches a lot, and everything was working. So he was just back there calling a video game. It was fun.
1-2 on LeCroy. The pitch. He struck him out swinging. 14 consecutive outs for Hunter Hollan.
Have you ever had more fun than that game against South Carolina, or ever feel like you did on that game?
I maybe had 1 or 2 outings at San Jac that were fun like that, but doing it against a top 10 matchup was cool.
Of the year. He starts with a K as he rings up Braswell inside corner at the knees. For the first out.
That game didn't start necessarily great for you. Yeah. You really got rolling in the 3rd inning, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I remember in the 2nd inning, you had a man at 3rd and 1 out.
Yep.
And there's a comebacker, right?
Yeah, 1st and 3rd, 1 out. Like first pitch comebacker, double play ball. Got me out of it.
So at that point, you get off the field. What are you thinking?
I'm like, hey, we got to pick it up. Because in the 1st inning, I dealt with runners on 2. So it was, all right, it's time to pick it up.
But it's not the way it went necessarily to start the next inning.
Yeah. Just kind of got rolling in the 3rd. I ended up, I guess, retiring, 19?
19 in a row. Yeah, there was the home run.
Yeah, the home run.
Then there's a walk.
Walk.
Then there's a fly out. Then a bunt single. And then you struck out the next 2 batters looking.
Yeah.
And that was the start of 19 in a row.
Yeah.
What's it feel like to retire 19 straight batters?
That I didn't even realize I was doing. I was just, trying to get outs, Coach Hobbs talks about all the time, A3P, action in 3 pitches, and that's what I was doing, just trying to pound the zone, and they were swinging. They were swinging the bat. So if I just executed pitches where I wanted to, they were getting themselves out.
Hollan sets, kicks, and deals. Curveball popped up on the infield. Who's going to call it? John Bolton calls it behind the mound. He makes the catch. Hunter Hollan throws a complete 9-inning game as this one.
Was there any point that you felt tired and that you had to kind of dig deep to continue? Because there was a lot of pitches that day.
Yeah, no, honestly, that outing, I felt good. I felt just as good in the 7th than I did in the 1st, and felt better in the 9th with walking out there and everybody standing up. That was cool. I knew that if you landed pitches inside, that it would open a bunch of stuff up, and really that's not just for South Carolina. It's really for everybody. But we saw some things with their swings that kind of opened up the inside part of the plate, especially down and in. And if you could, once I started landing fastballs inside, it opened up the cutter off of it and got a lot of weak contact and ground balls. So
that was a Sunday afternoon. You got a big ovation. You've pitched rubber games. You've pitched Friday nights in Baton Rouge or Thursday night Baton Rouge in that case. Friday nights at Arkansas. I think a Thursday night game at Ole Miss. So you've opened series in some great atmospheres, and you've had to finish series in some great atmospheres. What is the difference in a starting pitcher's mind from a Friday game compared to a Sunday game?
I would just say the mindset of it being, a Friday night in the SEC just means a lot. Normally, because of all the great Friday night arms in the past, that it just kind of it's hyped Friday nights up to be that. And but I would say just there's a big difference, not necessarily how you attack the team, but just what happened in the previous two games that could determine the mindset for a Sunday game. Like at Mississippi State, it was a whole lot different going into Sunday than it was against South Carolina. Mm-hmm. And it shouldn't be like that, but just the games make it play out, and the want to win, and throwing on Friday nights in the SEC is a good time.
Well, and you've experienced both of those roles. And it's gone from, and you and Hagen Smith have pretty much kind of like rotated around each other, from him being on a Friday and you on a Sunday, to then the two of you on the same day with you starting the game. When your role moved, and it's just those 2 days from Sundays to Fridays, and you knew Hagen would be there after you, that really helped the team get rolling, didn't it?
Yeah. I just think because we went into the mindset every single Friday, like, hey, we're winning this game. Like, just if we're going to use, me and Hagen, all eggs were in the basket to win on Friday night, and it worked out. We've been pitching and playing really good defense all year. It's been a lot of fun.
It was interesting to the idea of we're all in on the first game, knowing the two pitchers that are going to go. And it said something about the mindset of this team, and I think Dave Van Horn has talked about it quite often. They haven't talked with you guys about the standings or about the next two games of series. People don't believe the cliche sometimes of one game at a time, but for this team, it really feels like it's a way to live.
Yeah, I think just because we went into every single night, okay, we're winning this game, we're going to go all in on this game, and not focusing on what we had the week after, or, where we had to go for a midweek or anything like that. It was just, okay, we're gonna go play LSU against Paul Skeens, and we're gonna win. And so it was. It's been a really awesome team to sit back and watch and play with.
What is this team like in the dugout? Now, not in games that you're pitching, because in those moments you're probably just focused more on what you need to do to compete. But on days that you're not pitching, if you're in the dugout, do you have a sense of what it's like in there? What is that team like?
I would say, especially the starts of a game, it's everybody's locked in, talking to each other, let's go, let's get it. There'll be like hitters talking about the starting pitcher and stuff, but everybody's locked in, and when the starting pitcher, comes and sits in the dugout, everybody kind of stands up, and Tay will always talk to us right before we break it out, and it's that everybody's just so locked in and pushes for each other and wants to win.
That's the thing that keeps standing out. Like, we spoke with Jay Sporfin here on the Hog Pod recently about this, and he said he could just tell as a returner, maybe compared to the year before, that there was a togetherness about this team that formed in the off season. And it's not every team that does that. Sometimes the gelling happens during the season. Did you feel that in the off season that this team really kind of bonded?
Yeah, for sure. Jace is right. Everybody always hung out together and enjoyed each other, and we'd get to the locker room early and stay late just because we enjoyed being around each other. So I knew as soon as we got here, we're just a couple weeks in, that this team was going to be close, and it was going to be fun to play together.
Well, and it certainly has been a lot of fun. Winning is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What does an SEC regular season championship mean to you?
Yeah, that's unbelievable, and getting to do it, and Coach Van Horn getting named the Coach of the Year. That's awesome. I've always known who Coach Van Horn was just because of Arkansas success, growing up. So it's awesome to be playing for him in a year that we had. He knows the game. It's unbelievable. He's really good at knowing like what to say at the right times. He's not going to hit you when you're down, and it's been awesome coming to Arkansas. And I had a coach very similar at San Jac, Tom Arrington, and they were very similar, and I loved Coach Arrington, and I've grown to love Van Horn, and it's been awesome getting to pitch for him.
But Arkansas wasn't always the first choice, or the second choice, or maybe even the third in some cases. Yeah. This was a long road to get to sitting here talking about you as a Razorback.
Yeah. I went through it during the recruiting process. You know, I had to deal with COVID, was signed to A&M, and they brought, you know, like 5 or 6 left-handed pitchers back because of the 5-round draft, and just got a phone call saying, hey, you're probably not going to pitch. So went to San Jac, and then ended up coming to TCU. That didn't really work out. Stayed at San Jac, and now I'm here.
But you do have a connection to Arkansas. You played for the Sticks, right? Did you pitch for the AR Sticks?
Yeah. Chase Brewster. So I played with them for just a couple of tournaments. I guess it was going into my senior year. And Chase, they were always good to me. Coach Ham, I played with Coach Ham. So the Arkansas Stick.
And I mean, I don't know if there are guys on the team right now that you played with, because there were previous, I think, players.
Peyton Holt,
yeah,
he was on that team. I think that might be it. James Hicks from South Carolina was on that team.
Okay, you're from Hallsville.
Yeah.
The Arklatex, right?
Yeah.
Is that the Arklatex?
No, it's not.
It's not the Arklatex?
No.
Where's the Arklatex then compared to that? Is it close by?
I don't even know.
Well, the Arklatex is like Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, that little corner.
I guess it's, it'd be, that's like an hour and a half.
Okay. Yeah. Now, who'd you grow up rooting for? In terms of college sports?
Texas. Yeah, I was a big Texas fan, but I wasn't Texas anymore until after, I guess I was 13, 14. I guess grew and just living in Texas. Every kid loves Texas.
And being recruited by other teams too. I mean, it's like,
yeah, I think it was the first school I got reached out by was I think Mississippi State or something, and it was like I was no longer just a Texas fan.
Yeah, you just got to change your perspective, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You were drafted in 21, right, by the Brewers?
Yep. Yes, sir.
What went into that and your decision to go back to San Jac?
It was just, I knew that if I could gain some velo and just get better, just get older, put on some weight, I could make a little bit more money, and that was the goal. And not necessarily money, but just go be a higher pick and just develop a little bit better before going into pro ball.
Is that a difficult thing to do, to say no to a major league?
Yeah,
no sir, thank you, but no?
Yeah, that was probably the hardest thing I've ever done, was saying no to my dream. That was tough, but I'm thankful to be in the position that I am now, for sure.
Well, yeah, you've got to bet on yourself.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
It's not an easy thing to have something that's kind of dangled in front of you, and you've been working for it to that point. But do you feel like you're in a better position now?
Yeah. Just pitching in the SEC is big time, and getting to compete against the best players in college baseball, it was definitely a benefit for me.
3-2 pitch, backdoor, breaking ball, strike 3. Hollan strikes out both Petrie and Messina, looking to end the inning.
Was there a moment in the fall where things hit you about the competition that you were pitching against?
Yeah, it was probably when I got here, day one. It was like, Jackson Wiggins was here, and Hagen Smith, the year that he had, Brady Tiger. They were both, him and Hagen were both freshman All-Americans, and it was. Cody Frank came from Nebraska, and he had, a lot of success in Nebraska. So it was awesome, the first couple of weeks getting to know everybody and just watching them throw a baseball. It's everybody that's really good at it, so it was fun.
And did it feel like a step up, at least in terms of the depth of hitting that you were pitching against, even though it was your own teammates?
Yeah, for sure. JUCO, I explain it like this, like JUCO hitters and SEC hitters are very similar. If you miss, they're going to hit. And I would just say the hitters here are just more patient. They wait for their pitch and don't chase as much.
Okay. when Jackson's injury happened, and it was kind of it wasn't like a foregone conclusion he was the Friday starter, but that was the feeling, is that he pitched well enough in the fall that would be the case.
Yeah, for sure.
What did that do to the pitching staff, or at least let me ask the question differently. How did the coaching staff have to like talk at all about the pitching staff and what you needed to do, or was it just understood like we're just going to move on to the next guy?
Yeah. When we found out the news, it was actually, we found it on Twitter before, anybody even told us. So
that's how things happen in this world now, right?
Yeah. Which I hate it for Jackson. I'm pretty sure he found out that too. But, it sucked. It was real quiet in that locker room for a little bit. But, the Coach Hobbs told us, and, just like with every other injury we've had to deal with this year, it's, y'all got to pick it up 5 more innings. Everybody has to be better for 5 more innings this year. And so that was the goal. It was just that's why the freshmen are in such a unique position, is because they got put on a team that had to deal with injuries, so they just got thrown into the fire. Where, if you're at, Florida right now, or, a bunch of schools that are just so deep, and you're a freshman coming in, they're not going to give you those chances like that. So, like Gage, if everybody's healthy, Gage might not be having the year that Gage was having. So, but good for Gage. Think about how good he's going to be the next 2 years because of just what we've had to go through.
It's interesting how Coach Hobbs would in his mind, it was like, well, we lost X amount of innings from this pitcher.
That's 100 innings probably.
That's right.
So,
yeah,
it's tough.
Well, and also, losing Cody Frank, very well could have maybe been like the 2 top innings eaters on the team.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
So that put a lot of pressure on the depth. And Dave Van Horn even said before the season started that he felt that the depth of pitching on this team might have been the best, or stuff is what he said, the depth of stuff.
Yeah.
Did you feel that too?
It still is, but it's by far the deepest pitching staff that I've seen. Everybody's good. All the freshmen came in and were unbelievable, and then you had the guys that transferred in, and then two All-Americans and Jackson Wiggins. So it was crazy.
How much does Matt Hobbs have to do with that, with the growth of the staff and helping plug the holes and the freshmen stepping into roles and everybody? It feels like everybody's taken a step forward this year. Yeah,
for sure. Coach Hobbs is unbelievable. It's been an honor for him to work with me, and I've enjoyed it. And he just he knows he has the right words to say, and he knows when to say it. And he doesn't. He always tells us that how good we can be if we just work hard, and he makes us, he pushes us, and everybody loves him and respects him, and so when they get that chance, they want to prove him right and do good for him.
He's finally, I think, turning the corner a little bit on being healthy, getting to a point where he's getting closer to being 100% healthy, and I think that we saw what we expected out of Hunter, is to go out and compete and mix pitches, and when he's got to make a big pitch, I think that's the best thing about Hunter, is he can find a pitch when he needs one.
I think every coach tries to be positive, but I think not every coach comes across as genuinely positive.
Yeah.
And these coaches come across genuinely positive. Is that something this is a genuine group of people that coach you, don't they?
Yeah, for sure. And it's genuine people that love to win, and so and those mix really well together. And so when you have people like that and they're leading us, that it makes us want to win for them, and not just for us. So it's awesome to be a part of.
Coach Hobbs, I asked him, give me a phrase that you think just helps describe Hunter Hollan, and after he said how great of a competitor you are, but then he threw out a term, and I love this: random pitch generator. What do you think that means?
I just think that he probably has a pitch in mind that he thinks I should throw in, like, say, a 3-2 count, or a 1-2 count, and I'll probably throw something completely different. And he's like, what? So, and that has a lot to do with Parker, and that's just us not trying to throw what we think the hitter's sitting on. And so, he just calls random stuff, and I like pitching. So, I'll throw it.
Part of that is because of how deep your repertoire is and the trust that you have in that stuff. Not every pitcher can throw 5 pitches. Well, they can, but they're not allowed to use them all in a game.
Yeah.
I mean, how did you develop this repertoire? And go through them all for the listeners.
Yeah.
Which, like, name the pitches you throw and maybe how you develop the pitches you think are your best.
Okay. I throw a 4-seam fastball, and that was kind of the first one, just playing catch in the yard with Dad, just always throwing. And then started throwing a 2-seam, and just been throwing those 2 for, I guess, forever. And then slider, I learned probably junior year of high school, and I've been throwing the same grip and the same one since then. And so just kind of developed into being able to throw it for strikes and believing in it and throwing it in in a 0-1 or a 1-0 or 2-0 count just to get back in it. And then a changeup that I've thrown since I was little, and then curveball. Just trying. It used to be just a lay me over curveball, just a show me pitch, and this year it got a lot better. And
yeah, that's not a lay me over pitch.
Yeah, it got a lot better, and it's been a lot of fun, and really it has a lot to do with Coach Hobbs and Parker, and just how he sets up me trying to think I got to throw it through this tunnel, and how my arm slot works with it. It's made sense to me in my head, and so I can feel it, and I got a lot better feel for it this year. And then about 2 weeks before the season started, I was like, hey, I'm gonna start throwing a cutter, and now I throw it like 30% of the time. So
6 pitches.
Yeah. The fastball is just I count them as 1.
Yeah, but a 4-seamer and 2-seamer are different.
Yeah.
It's okay to have 6 pitches.
Yeah.
Fastest pitch you've thrown this year, if you know.
I think it was 95.8.
Slowest pitch you've thrown this year.
Probably 68.
That's crazy that you've thrown a 95-mile-an-hour pitch and a 68-mile-an-hour pitch this year.
Yeah.
And you've thrown that 68, 69-mile-an-hour curveball on a fairly routine basis.
Yeah.
That's a crazy combination.
Yeah. And that's just why. I had a pitching coach, and he always said, you can be as good as you want to be if you can throw 2 pitches, and just one of them has to be 10 miles per hour slower than the other. He's like, you can have success.
Yeah, we're talking like 22 mile an hour, maybe like a 27 mile an hour difference. I mean, that's much more different. I mean, you can make a batter look really foolish sometimes.
Yeah. And it gets a lot of freezes, and just because people aren't expecting it. It comes out of my hand and pops up real slow, and they don't know what it is, or it confuses them. So just to get free strikes, hopefully, and create weak contact.
Everybody's, we all say breaking ball, curveball, slider, that kind of thing. Where you're thrown with that curve is an old-fashioned Uncle Charlie. You've ever heard it referred like that? Like, not everybody can throw that. And this is the pitch that you've really. Has this pitch improved more than any other pitch this season, or is there something else?
I would say the curveball has been the most improved, because it was going. I mean, I didn't really throw it in the fall. Like, it was just. I started working on it, and I think it was like just early spring. We might have even started playing. Like, I don't think I threw it in Globe Life, and it was like, hey, we got to get this pitch rolling, because it can get us, free 0 count, just lay it in there, and so just to get ahead, and then you can do 6 different things off of that. So we just started calling it more, and just made me start landing it, and he would call it in a 3-0 count. 2-0 count, just to make me lock in, and Parker doing that, it makes, okay, he believes I can throw it, so it gives you that extra confidence. So it's definitely been the most improved pitch.
Starting pitching is a real strength of this team right now. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got Hagan pitching really well, Brady Tigert stretching out, looking really good, and you too. Starting pitching is a real strength of this team right now.
Yeah, when Brady Tigert starts going 7, we're going to be hard to beat.
Yeah.
It's going to be, and then Will McIntyre's throwing it the best he has all year, so it's going to be fun.
Has this team played their best yet, or is there another gear?
No, not even close. We haven't had a weekend where our lineup's done what it's capable of doing. So when that happens, it's going to be fun.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah.
Because you guys are like, champions of the SEC. And you
Yeah.
haven't played your best yet.
Yeah, our lineup could get 15 hits a game, all weekend, and we just haven't done it yet. And they're very capable of doing it, and I think they will. Slavens is getting hot. Slavens is hot. Callie's swinging it well. Jace is swinging it well. So Tay's going to get rolling, and Jared's going to get rolling again, and it's going to be fun.
Do you allow yourself at all to just wonder what's post this season? Once the Razorback season is over, do you allow yourself to wonder what's next for you?
No, I definitely try to stay where my feet are. It's just this is something that I won't get back, and this is the best time of the season right now. So definitely gonna stay in the moment and just continue to have quality outings to put the team a chance to win.
It's been a great year so far.
Yeah.
But it can get just a little bit better, can't it?
Yeah, it can get a whole lot better. Because we actually got told today, you're remembered by, where you ended, and we don't want to be the team that doesn't get there. So we have a lot of work to do.